I just wanted to try to see y'all again as soon as I possibly could. So I'm very happy to be making this video. Hopefully I can bring some lessons that you can learn, some good lessons, because you can learn bad ones too. With every thing in the world, there's always a good and a bad, right? But I want you to learn a good lesson from me, or good lessons from me opposed to the bad, because, you know, it's so easy to be bad. I mean, some people would beg to differ, but for the most part, it's easy to make a selfish decision opposed to making a selfless one. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today was last week. Last week was a horrible diet week for me because, you know, I ate junk food like a motherfucker. I mean, I was supposed to be sticking to fruits, vegetables, and protein and saving all the carbs and all the other stuff that I want to eat for the weekends or, you know, for birthdays and holidays and stuff like that. But it didn't work out that way for me last week. I ate candy, I ate cookies, I ate bread, I ate fries. On the upside, we do have an air fryer now, so it's not like there was oil in this particular set of fries, but you know, you're still supposed to watch all that, right? And my goal isn't to lose weight. My goal is to live a good quality of life and to prevent diabetes if possible. I did eat starch today, but the only reason I ate the bagel was because I'm on birth control, and you have to have some sort of cracker or something with it so you don't, you know, throw up. Because I remember one time I came home and I ate a salad and I didn't eat anything like any crackers or anything, and I took the birth control along with the other medicines that I normally take, and I was gagging and it felt like I was gonna throw up. So whenever I take the birth control, I'm gonna have to give myself some leeway with some starch. But if I'm out of birth control, then I'm not going to give myself any leeway with starch. I think what I would do is during the week, if I have to have the carbs, I'm just gonna reduce it. Like, I'm not gonna eat 2 bagels in one day, or I'm not gonna eat a whole bag of pretzels or anything like that. And I used to do that. That's the scary part about all this. Eating is kind of addictive, especially if you're like watching something on television, or if you're somebody like me where you're on your laptop all day. I don't really watch things on my phone unless I'm like laying down and getting ready to go to bed. But even then, it's probably just like Facebook videos or anything like short, something like that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm looking at videos on my laptop. But if you're like me and you're looking at your laptop or you're looking at your television, you're gonna want to eat something while you're watching the show. So that's where I get tripped up at, because I'm just sitting here where the show's not finished, so I'm just gonna go grab something else. And the crazy thing about it is it all started with the pizza. I realized I don't have as much self-control as I thought I did. So I was thinking, you know what? I know how to eat in moderation. I know how to say no. But then the pizza was there, and I was like, you know what? It's there. I don't feel like doing anything else. And with me, eating junk food comes from pure laziness. Like, I can get so lazy, I don't feel like doing nothing else. And that's probably how I got to this point in the first place, because either I was too lazy to actually cook, or I just wanted the junk food that bad. Because I remember over the weekend, I was craving the cookies. It was just, now I was trying to resist it, but you know, I eventually just said, fuck it, I'm gonna feed the craving, and hopefully during the week I can make better decisions. And it's Monday, and the only thing I ate today was, the thing that's been consistent, even with me making junk food decisions last week is I did continue to fast. Like I said, I've been fasting during the day since December. So even now, I'm fasting and I'm just eating in the evening and, trying not to overeat. So I'm doing the fasting because, like I said, one of my anxiety triggers is eating. Like, I can eat a lot, but eating is also my anxiety trigger. Because, when I'm alone and if I have a panic attack, because, getting an allergic reaction to something can make you panic. And when you're like me and you haven't had a reaction in a while because you've been successfully avoiding your allergens, at least as much of them as possible, because, pollen is kind of not avoidable unless you're not going to go outside, But for the most part, I haven't had it in a while. The last time I had a severe allergic reaction, I was 17. Matter of fact, no, scratch that. It's probably 18, maybe 19, early 20s when the second one happened, because the first one was definitely when I was 17, and the second one, I was around the 19 to 20 range. But when you haven't really had a reaction in a while, you kind of forget what it feels like, and then that's where my anxiety comes from. So, I guess what I'm saying is that I kind of need my husband here to make me rational. Because, regardless, if I do have a freaking allergic reaction, I'm going to have to stick myself with an EpiPen and then take my ass to the hospital. That's the most logical thing that I can do. But the thing that fucks me up is the panic. See, my husband being here keeps me calm, makes me think rationally, and it also gives me that chance to just let go. So if I do wound up being in a situation where I'm like having an extreme anxiety attack, at least he'd be here for the girls. Or, God forbid, I actually have a real allergic reaction to anything, At least he'd be here while I'd be taking care of myself, And being a mom is already, hard enough, even on a person that doesn't have any kind of conditions. So you put that on top of me having to also be responsible for myself. It's like, I gotta be responsible for myself, and then I also have to be responsible for my kids, and that's a lot on the brain, It's a lot to process. So you have that, which brings stress, and stress does not go well with panic attack. Yeah, he's here to keep me rational. So during the day, I just fast just to be on the safe side and just put all of my focus on the girls and cleaning the house. And, in the evenings I eat, I relax, and then I just, go to bed, rejuvenate, and do everything all over again. I'm also sticking to the 1 meal a day method because, calorie deficit. If I can successfully do calorie deficit, I probably can also help myself not get diabetes. It's been rough because, you get hungry during the day. I mean, I've been fasting since December, so the cravings during the day and the desperation for food is kind of diminishing. But when I was first starting to do it, yeah, it was there. It's like I was exhausted, and I realized I wasn't feeding myself enough to continue on with it. Once I started to get used to it, like mid-January, I started to actually feed myself enough so that I could get through the day. But also, I fed myself a lot of starch and a lot of bread. Yes, we need bread to have energy to burn off during the day. But with me, because I have a higher chance of getting diabetes, I can't be eating too much bread and too much starch, which is why last week was such a terrible thing for me. I've been cutting down the dairy too because my sinuses have been terrible, but I've only started to cut down my dairy today. It's annoying because I like cheese and I like cereal and milk. And I don't really want to try any plant-based milk because, like I said, I have allergies. So it's like, even if I get something that isn't my allergen, it still had contact with my allergen. And if I just, it's very tricky being a person with allergies. Especially when you have an allergen that can be cross-contaminated with anything. It's harder to avoid. So it's like the most annoying existence. And then you're like, when you're around people, shit gets awkward because it's like, everybody isn't like you. And then you start to look like the asshole because you go, well, I can't eat this and I can't eat that. And then they're looking at you like, well, you're a fucking buzzkill and I don't want to be that, But yeah, as an adult, I had to be responsible for myself. So this is why I try to be as careful as possible. And being a mom, yeah, I gotta be careful. If I'm not careful, then stuff happens to them, and that's not good at all. Grief has still been pretty hard on me. I still walk in mom's room every once in a while. I still haven't gotten rid of a lot of things, and I still haven't, organized it. I'm planning on turning my mom's room into my art studio in hopes of maybe remembering everything that her and I wanted to add in our stories, so I can have her energy mixed with my energy because that's the room she slept in. So I'm hoping that turning it into the art studio does help me organize things in the house a little bit better, give me a better place to record videos, a quieter place, and a place where I can actually make it artistically my own. Because here, this is where the girls normally are. And you probably can see the crayon on the wall, and if you can see anything else that they made a mess with in this room. As far as grieving over my dad, I still, I'm still disturbed about his death as well. But it's not really like, it's not hitting me as hard as mom because he wasn't like here. He wasn't physically here. Mom was physically here like every day, 24/7. Most of the time I had contact with my dad, it was over the phone. I haven't been looking at I haven't really been looking at his number and text that much because, it just reminds me of the fact that I can't communicate with my dad anymore, Yeah, with him is over the phone. I've been with my dad in person throughout my life, of course, but during the last parts of his life and during maybe like the first part of my adult life, it was through phone mostly. So that's why, whenever I think about calling somebody, it might, make me a little depressed because it's like, that was my only access to my father, talking to him through the wave lines. The girls, they've been getting into stuff, and they've been curious, and they've been probably restless of being in this house so much. But I can't imagine they're too restless because they are babies. They pretty much content with their surroundings, pretty much. I've been saying pretty much a lot in this freaking video. I don't know, it's like, I don't really have everything, like, set up. I don't really have a whole lot to, like, really talk about. Like, nothing's really in format. And it's like, I don't want to, like, go through all the trouble of trying to write a freaking script or anything like that because I already have a lot to do. Speaking of a lot to do, I'm working on the comics still. I'm still open for commissions, and I'm probably going to be posting some comic strips soon. But I might be posting random art pieces before then because I've been working on that. The comic part of the magazine is the main part of the magazine that has been successfully being created in the process. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of articles I'm gonna make. If I'm gonna actually interview anybody for an article, what type of interview to give people, and the article part is just, it's not a now problem. It's really not, because I still gotta like put all the comics into the computer and format them for printing, and then after I do that, then I can print them, and then I can create the cover. But I think the cover is going to be like the last thing I create, because I still do have to create the articles for the magazine. If anybody goes to kbo.wordpress.com, you can get a little bit of a taste of what the magazine could be like, because it's a blog. It's a blog website, and I plan on doing something else to make like a store, and I'll update everybody on the store when it's finally created. And I also want to like sell my work on Amazon as well. I mean, I love buying from Amazon so much. Why not sell my work on Amazon too? Amazon has been a very big part of my life. I got so many useful things from there. And Target. Target has been very useful as well. And Walmart has always been there for everybody, pretty much. Yeah, on the website, there's gonna be like, my comics are going to be there, my magazine is going to be there, and I'm going to make it possible for people to sign up for magazine subscriptions if they want to. And so yeah, the magazine, full comics, figurines, teddy bears. A lot of them I'm going to try to make myself. There's going to be very few of them that I actually, make myself. I don't know if I'm going to like create toys yet, but first I have to actually put my comic books out there before I can even get to a point where I'm making any type of toys or figurines. But if I do have figurines on the site, 9 times out of 10 it's made by me. But everything is slow. Like, the end result of my process will be the streaming service. I still have some other projects I want to work on. But as far as the main thing, the main project, at the end of the day, I want to create my own streaming service with my animations and stories on the site. And then you can like go to the store to buy merchandise if you feel like it, So it'd be like streaming service and then store section of the app. And I want it to be possible for me to get it on phones, laptops, TVs, everything, I finally got Disney Plus, and I'm just waiting for the new Proud Family to debut because I've really been anticipating this. I'm going to be so happy to finally watch it. Proud Family, like many other cartoons, have been the fuel to make me want to animate. And I hope that I get some inspiration from it, I guess. I don't know what to say, because it's like, I don't want to say I want to be inspired by it, because I'm not trying to copy anything. See, that's the thing as an artist. I never want to be the person to like copy, but I've been hearing throughout the internet is that there's no such thing as being completely original. And I guess when you logically think about it, no, there's no such thing as being original. Or like so original to the point where nobody's ever thought of it. But I don't want to be that type of person that like copies everything to a T, because I have my own mind. You know, I can create things that people like. I can create things that people like without, completely depending on something else. I mean, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with having source material. Just don't copy every inch of it, Let your mind work. You're a lot more creative than what you think you are. And that's what I try to do every day. I try to put the work into being creative. Because there's nothing wrong with being inspired. Because I have a lot of cartoons that I'm in the process of making that are inspired by many cartoons, anime, comic books, and manga that I've consumed over the years and that I'm currently consuming now. I would even say chapter books because I'm starting to get into chapter books now. Oh yeah, I got this cool book. Check this out. It's fairy tales from around the world. I don't know if anybody can see it. Oh, it's a little bit focused. Hey, it's focused a little bit. But yeah, fairy tales from around the world. And this is going to take me a while to read. But I'm already enjoying it. I mean, I'm still in the first story. I'm not a fast reader. Don't judge me. The first story in that book is called Donkey Skin. And I know thinking about the name alone, you're like, ew, what is that about? That can go so many bad ways. And it kind of does. Not in the way you think, though. Like, the worst part of the story doesn't really happen. Like, it's not dragged out, of course. One of the things that stuck out to me in Donkey Skin so far is that the king's wife told him to remarry. And she told him to find a wife that is prettier than her? I'm just very shocked and a bit appalled by that, because it's like, God forbid I ever go before my husband or my husband goes before me, because I'm hoping that him and I can just live our happy lives and grow old together, and maybe even possibly pass away in peace at old age together. But, playing a little bit of devil's advocate here. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell my husband to fucking remarry. Like, that's not gonna be the thing that comes in my head on my deathbed. And you could say this woman was being generous, she was being nice, and all this other stuff. But it's like, why is that the first thing that comes in your head when you about to die? Oh, honey, I want you to be happy. Marry a person that's prettier than me. And I'll meet you in heaven. I don't know about that, player. I mean, I'm not going to tell the man he's not allowed to just go off and be with somebody else. I'm going to just assume that it's implied. Because you're alive. So you're going to have plenty more time before you die, especially if you don't do something stupid. So 9 times out of 10, on a normal basis, you're probably going to wind up falling in love with somebody else. But the weird thing about that is, what happens in the afterlife when, the person that died, then the person that you were with, how does this go in heaven? Is there like a Jerry Springer fight or something? And like the first person was going, hey, but I was here first. What are you doing here? But he fell in love with me. And I'm just like, ugh. Like, do we ever think farther than that? I mean, I understand companionship is very, very important, but what if there is an afterlife to look forward to? I wouldn't want that drama. Then again, I wouldn't want to be throwing fist fights in front of God and shit. I mean, we're on Earth now. So it's like we're still, acting in front of God and everything, especially if you believe in God. But it's like, it's different when you're closer to God, right? I wouldn't want to be that person. I mean, personally, like I said, God forbid, like I said, playing devil's advocate and actually considering the story at hand, or at least that snippet of the story, because it's not the whole thing. I personally would not remarry if my husband was to go before me. I wouldn't do it. Especially after everything that my husband and I have been through. We've been together for almost 11 years. And it'll be officially 11 years on May 14th. So, yeah. So here's the thing. My husband and I have been together for almost 11 years. And which means we're almost 7 years married. So we've been together since high school. And, last year it was 6 of those years we were married. This year, May 14th, it'll be 7 years that we've been married. And throughout that time, him and I have gone through a lot. And we've been here for each other. Like I said, we were with each other through his mom dying and my parents passing away last year. And we've gone through financial struggles and all of that. Like, personally, I mean, I would hate to lose him in any way, shape, or form. And I would hate to go before him as well. But I feel like, because we don't know what life is going to bring us. This is why I talk about hypotheticals, because we all have our mindset. Like I said, originally, I'm like, hey, we going together. We grown old and we going together, But then again, there's a lot of people out there with that thought process. We together, we gonna be together forever. We gonna be together even in eternity, But depending on the person that you with, it might not work out that way. Or, unfortunately, you two could have damn near perfect relationship and one of you go before the other, and then the other's stuck raising kids alone. Like I said, through all of that, I wouldn't date after my husband. And plus at that particular point, I'd be like, well, I still got kids to raise. And with me, I wanted to start a business even when I was in high school. So I would still have that to keep me busy during life. But it's like, I wouldn't do it. I feel like my husband and I have been through way too much for me to be like, well, on to the next dick. Oh, well, it could have been forever, but it's not. But no, I don't think I would do that. We've been through a lot, and he's my husband, and I can't see myself with anybody else. He's the only husband that I am gonna have. After that, I'd just be a mom. And I'd be a proud mom, of course, but I'd just be a mom. And I'd be okay with that, And it's gonna be, it would be rough living alone, because there's a lot of people that have a hard time being alone, and I don't blame you. Hell, being alone is energy draining. You're constantly trying to find some sort of companionship. I remember started talking to my mom a short while ago last year. And I was telling her, well, I'm married, I have kids now. I have nothing else to look forward to for myself anymore. You know, because all the stuff that you could look forward to, like you graduating from college, you getting married, you having your kids, and everything's like, there's nothing else for me to look forward to. I'm already married. I already got kids. I guess I'm in the process of starting my business. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there, you know. But she was like, Khadijah, there's a lot more that you can look forward to. And at first, I didn't see it. I was like, well, shit, what else? I've done it, you know. As far as like average life without doing anything spectacular, I pretty much did it. It's not about me anymore. But even though it's not about me anymore, watching my daughters make their decisions is something to look forward to. There's a lot within them that makes life worth living. And even now, they're showing me what type of people they're going to be, even now, you know? I mean, obviously, nothing with them right now is permanent because they're just babies. But, you know, Violet's showing that she has a bit of a strong personality. Leah's showing that she's a bit shy. She also is showing that she can be a bit clingy. And Violet's showing that she likes what she likes. You know? She'll let you know if she don't want none, if she don't want anything, you know? Yeah. It's amazing watching them grow up, and watching them grow up is enough for me. And it also gives me more of a reason to start my business because I get to leave them something behind to make their lives just a slightly bit easier, you know? Because I don't have it easy. I don't. I'm struggling financially. I'm struggling mentally. I'm struggling emotionally. My energy's low a lot of the times. And it's just like, ugh. And I can only imagine what my husband's going through because I'm not in his head. So I don't know his experiences, which is why it's important for us to talk to each other so that, you know, I can know. We talk, and I know as much as I know because we talk. But I don't push the issue. If you don't want to talk, you don't want to talk. There's nothing I can do to make him talk to me. There's nothing I can do to make him just spew out all of his inner, deepest feelings and emotions and all that. But looking into his eyes, I see that he's just as stressed out as I am. He's just as tired as I am. We do about the same amount of work. I clean the house. I take care of the kids. I do my hobbies and try to, you know, live a little bit of a nostalgia when I'm trying to escape the stresses of life. And he travels. He does his job. He makes runs on the way home and he comes home. And he burns a lot more energy because he has to use the bus opposed to the car. Because, you know, sometimes you got to run for the bus, especially if you're late. And even if you're just stuck there at the bus stop waiting, it still takes a lot of effort to wait. Trust me, I know. I wait for my husband all freaking day. You know how hard it is to wait for somebody for like 12 hours to get home? Luckily, I do have a lot of cleaning to do. And luckily, the girls do keep me busy. And luckily, I do have a fucking phone to use and some other shit. But it's like, waiting is the most energy draining thing ever. And, you know, I get why people get mad in certain situations. Because it's like, That's your time being wasted. You could have been doing something else other than waiting. So I get why people get angry when they're in a situation where they're like exhausted and they're like, well, goddamn, am I gonna get any kind of freaking anything from all this effort? Man, life is really, really hard to deal with. It's worth it because it's better to be breathing than not. But it's hard to deal with because, you know, you want things to be easy. You want things to be enjoyable, but everything isn't enjoyable, and you have to fight for whatever joy that you can get out of life, you know? So I see why people do things that aren't necessarily the best idea, but I get that it gives them that escape, you know? Hell, even being addicted to sugar like I am is an escape because things are stressful. When my dad died, all I wanted was sugar. And the sugar craving continued even after my mom left this earth. And she was trying to tell me to eat more vegetables. Take care of yourself. Now I'm trying. I'm trying to take care of myself as much as possible. It's hard. I don't know if I said this in another video, but I'm related to David Ruffin from the Temptations. I'm like his third cousin because family trees are kind of like, it's weird. After mother, daddy, kids, the grandparents, aunties, uncles, and cousins, after that, shit gets very confusing. I would be related to David Ruffin on my dad's side. I did not know this man personally. If anybody knew him personally, it probably was my grandfather because he was his first cousin. Dad found this out through his father. And if you actually look at a couple of pictures of David Ruffin and me, we do look similar, you know. I don't know, like, I remember when Dad told me that the first thing I did was look for a Temptations song on the internet and just started listening, you know. Then I started to look at more stuff on the computer and finding songs that were specifically made by him. I was like, Dad, he sounds so sad. I guess he was upset because I guess he wanted me to like his song, but I wasn't saying that I didn't like his songs. I was just saying he sounded sad. He sounded like he was going through a lot, and you can tell by the message of the song. But, you know, I'm in tune with emotions. This is the longest that I've talked in a video, you know? I just hope I'm not just up here rambling and shit, because it's like, people don't need their freaking time wasted, and I'm just like, I'm just sitting here, and I just hope I'm doing enough. I plan to make more dancing videos in the near future. If you want to hear the songs that I'm dancing to, you're probably going to have to go to my Patreon to see them. Because, you know, I can't play music on YouTube because that'll be the flag or the copyright banned, and I'm not trying to deal with all that. I'm trying to at least start my channel. I'm not trying to go through all them changes. So yeah, I got the songs that I'm dancing to on Patreon. I've been trying to fit a lot of reading into the day, so here's some books that I've been reading. I mean, you already saw the first one, The Tales from Around the World, but check this out. I got volume 2. Freaking awesome. I'm going to continue to follow this series because ever since I saw the reading on YouTube, I was like, I gotta have it. As soon as I saw it was on Amazon, I was like, grab. This one I got from Barnes & Noble. This manga, this could give you some nightmares, especially the first story in here. It's like, it's this. This is the first story of the book. This dude right here. He's right there. And he gave me nightmares. And she did not give me nightmares, but it was borderline. And there's a marionette in the story, too. You know, it's a lot going on in Shiver. And this is another book I got from Barnes & Noble. I watched the movie a couple of weeks ago. So this is the never-ending story. And there's a lot more to the never-ending story than just that one movie I watched. So I'm going to probably watch the rest of the cinematic and animated universe because they have a cartoon as well. I went to grab some more books because I'm not just reading one. And yeah, so the next set of books that I'm gonna show you is The Haunt of Fear. I had to get the one with the old witch because I'm a woman and I can relate to her because I am woman. But I plan on getting Tales from the Crypt and Haunt of Fear. But me looking for these comic books would have never happened if I would have never found Tales from the Crypt. When the hell did I start watching Tales from the Crypt? I remember watching it in 2015. But I don't know what sparked me to watch it. Was it because I was trying to get myself used to horror movies? Because I used to avoid horror movies like the fucking plague, man. I was like, nah, I'm not getting nightmares tonight. You forget that. But yes. Matter of fact, now let me show them in order. Haunt of... Is it the right setup? Haunt of Fear, Volume 1. And also Haunt of Fear, Volume 2. And as far as this book, I got Volume 2 first. So I've already been reading on it. There's a story in Volume 2 that's really kind of dumb. And I'm about to tell you in just a few minutes. There's a character in one of these stories that's in here. By the way, the Crypt Keeper and the Vault Keeper are both in these books. But the main person telling the story is the Old Witch. So even if you got Vault of Horror and Tales from the Crypt, you would still see the Old Witch and the Vault Keeper and the Crypt Keeper and all the versions of this. And I think this is a Canadian book. I also have Creepshow too. I don't know where I put Creepshow. I might have put it deep in my book stash somewhere. So I will probably show you Creepshow in the next video. But yeah, let me get back to the point. So there's a story in this book told by the Old Witch where, okay, a dude lost both of his parents. And he wanted to be buried in the mausoleum. And, I don't know if it was 2 spots left. But I know eventually it got to 1 spot being left, right? And he went to live with his cousins because his parents died and he was a kid. So eventually his cousin got sick. He was like, oh shit, I want that spot in the mausoleum. So what he does is, because he's like, oh snap, I'm not going to be next in line for that spot in the mausoleum, he kills his cousin. So then after that, his cousin is buried wherever dude buried his cousin. And apparently he got away with killing his family member without any consequences. And then he realized, oh, my cousin's dad is old as fuck, so he's gonna be the next to go. So then he go ahead on kill his uncle. He buried him and put his body wherever he put it. And then, last but not least, the other cousin finds out that he killed them both. So then he kills him. It's like, nobody's gonna take that spot in the mausoleum but me. I'm not gonna tell the ending of the story, but I'm pretty sure based off of what you can do as far as putting the pieces together. Yeah. He gets his comeuppance, but this dude is stupid. Why would you kill people over a fucking place to put your dead body? You know what? Why didn't he just buy a mausoleum, grab his parents, and put them in there so it's guaranteed that he would go when it's his turn? Like, nigga. I'm floored by this. And there's a lot more disturbing stories in here, like the cheesemaker and all that good stuff. But it's like, sir, it's not that serious. It's just a final resting place. I mean, yeah, I think about where the fuck I want my body to go to, but it's like, it's not that serious. It's way more important to actually have life experiences than there is to be worrying about where the fuck your dead body's gonna go. What the fuck? And I guess there's a lesson that we can learn in this story, aside from the literal lesson of the story. Sometimes you need to put more effort in what's right in front of your face than to be worrying too much about the future. Because the future is going to happen regardless of whether you're here to experience it or not. So it's better to just focus on you and the now than to sit up here and be like, well, I have to assure this one thing that probably doesn't mean anything. I mean, hell, my mom's currently in a box in her room instead of laying on her bed asleep while Tom and Jerry plays in the background. It would either be Tom and Jerry, the Smurfs, the Flintstones if it was actually late enough. Because she would always put on like Boomerang. And, yeah, that's about it. Because Mom didn't really watch Discovery Family because, you know, she wasn't really into My Little Pony. But she would watch Powerpuff Girls, Tom and Jerry. She would sometimes watch Ed, Edd n Eddy with me. Like, she would remember it, but it wasn't like something that got her hype. But it was Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Smurfs, I think I'm missing something. I don't know what it is. If I don't remember in this video, I'll say it in the next video. But it's like, yeah, my mom's in a box. I mean, I guess we all wound up being in a box. I guess your choices is either be dust in a box or be a body in a box. This dude killed 3 of his family members over a box to be in. Why? It also reminds me of the Osiris story about how Set bought his brother a casket. Or no, was it a casket or a sarcophagus? Either way, it was a place to put his dead body. And Osiris tried the motherfucker out to see if he could fit. And I'm just like, why would you do that? Because I remember reading this in high school. I also read King of Thorn in high school. I am going to start collecting the King of Thorn manga. Because I read it in high school, which means I was checking it out at the library and I had to return it. But I'm going to start collecting those books again. Those James were awesome. I love them so much. And I never got a chance to finish it. I think there's an anime of it. I guess the real question is, what am I going to do first? Am I going to watch the King of Thorn anime? Or am I going to start by finishing the manga series? But yeah, back to Osiris. It's just like, so you accepted a casket, coffin, sarcophagus, a box that your body's gonna be in from your brother. Like, you actually tested this motherfucker out. You were just sitting there like, alright, bro, I fit. Thank you. What? Your brother bought you a casket. To some degree, I guess if you gonna play devil's advocate again, I guess you could say, well, caskets are expensive, so I guess my brother saved me some money so that I would have to pay for this shit by... No. Why would you do this? Why would you get in there? Why? Like, when I read that shit, I was like, no. But I was screaming in my head because I was in the library when I was reading this. And I was just like, wait, why would you go in there? He gave you a gift as a casket. He's trying to kill you. And turns out in the mythology, he does wind up killing Osiris and freaking tossing his body all over the place and shit. What is with people and their obsession with... irrational obsession with death? Because it's okay to acknowledge it. Because that's what these two stories kind of shows. Like, Set was so obsessed with death to the point where he just wanted to kill his brother, and it was out of jealousy. While the dude in this story was just so obsessed to be with his parents that he forgot that he's supposed to live too. So instead of living and waiting for your time, you kill your family members because you wanted a spot to put your dead body. And you know, if this was a real person, he'd be going to hell. The first story in this one is a trip as well. So it's about a dude and his wife. He's sick of his wife. His wife takes in a cat, and he's like, fuck that cat. And he's like in the process of being pissed off with his wife about the cat. And she's like, oh my God, my sweet little baby kitty. And then he just goes, BOW! And then he hits her so hard that she dies. So he takes her body and puts it in a makeshift wall out of brick. He think the cat in there, and then he put his hand up in there trying to get the cat out because he was sick of that cat meowing and shit. Meowing. English. So he had his hand up in there, right? He was like, police! Help! Police! The police came. And then again, now that I think about it, how the hell do you put your hand in a wall getting bitten up by supposedly a cat, and you just yell police and they there? How do police know you needed help? What, did they have cell phones in this time? Because this is written in an older time than now. Was there a rotary phone just conveniently on the floor? Hold up, bro, I got you. You only need 3 times since 911. So he just picks up the phone. Help! Police! Help! My hand! And then, I guess after that, the police was like magically there, like poof, we here, we balling and stuff. So we just gonna help you out and get you out this wall, son. And so what had happened was the cat wasn't even in the wall. The cat moved on. And they found the wife's dead body in the wall. So this nigga, they called the police on himself because he finna go to jail for murder. And he's also going to hell. I'm done. Like, okay, I don't know what solution. You know what? Let me just think about it. Maybe he should have, like, spoke to his wife about the cat and was like, I think you're giving the cat more attention than me, and I would appreciate it if you would treat me like a human being. Like, just talk to her, you know? Don't rage at her and say, I hate your fucking cat, and then go to hit the motherfucker, and then you done offed your wife for no damn reason. And then if it was really that serious, why didn't you just divorce her? You could have been with somebody you actually felt like being with, that actually gave a crap about you, instead of putting a cat or making a cat more important than you, and then you wouldn't have went to jail. And I know it sounds dumb as hell to divorce somebody over a cat, but if it's really that serious, just divorce her. Just divorce the person. Don't sit up here and waste your time and wind up building a freaking wall with your partner's remains left in it, and then stupidly calling the police because it's like, well, instead of divorcing her, now I got her ass on a fucking wall and they're about to freaking lethal inject my ass. But then again, this was made in an older period of time, so you would have got the electricness of chair. Things can always be solved if you just plead your case, hear the person out, and then determine what you do from there. Do not plow them out of existence. It will help a lot of people live a lot happier lives if you don't clock somebody to death. Or murder somebody to be in a box. I don't know. Those two stories like stuck out to me the most. I was like, this is ridiculous. There's no way that anything could ever be that serious. Ever. I don't know. And then again, that's when my dad was like, you know, your man gotta talk to you. If he can't talk to you, don't be with him. If he can't conversate with you and y'all come up with a rational conclusion, you shouldn't be with him. And vice versa for dudes. If you can't talk to her and come up with a rational conclusion, you shouldn't be with her. You can live a lot more peaceful of a life if you're with somebody that you can actually be teammates with. Teamwork makes the dream work. I think that's how I said it. But hey, yo, I'm going to end the video here. Hopefully I can come back with a lot more of an interesting topic. And maybe I can talk about another one of these stories. From these crazy ass motherfuckers that think things matter that don't actually matter that much. Oh yeah, and to send this video off, don't kill your wife over a cat. Peace.